Today we're going to be talking about a very important topic, and I'm going to pull in multiple spiritual references to illustrate this, and we're going to be discussing how to really defeat a narcissist. Hi everybody, a very warm welcome to my channel, Nelly the Narcissist, or Nelly Not the Narcissist. You know I'm not a narcissist, but my character Nelly that I portray over in my comedy skits, she is a narcissist, and all links below to those comedy skits in the video description. And if you appreciate this video today and you'd like to help me out, because it really does help me to get this message seen by more survivors that might really need to hear it, then like the video right now, share it with anybody that you think is going to help, and comment your thoughts down below. Across Eastern spirituality, early Christianity, and even modern day psychology, the same truth appears time and time again. Evil and ego does not lose power when you fight them. It is actually your resistance and energy of opposition that reinforces their power. So the more that we fight them, the more that we fight against them, the more powerful that they grow. And that's counterintuitive. And this is exactly what we are going to be looking at in today's podcast. I want to start by telling you all of the reasons why fighting a narcissist head to head in such a way is never going to be the best option or the ultimate way that you are going to win against them. Because although it feels instinctive and intuitive, and although, the human part of our consciousness wants to fight back, wants to take the fight to them, I don't believe that it ever truly yields the kind of rewards that you think it's going to. But there is a far greater principle that immediately can render the powerlessness of any narcissistic opponent. And we're going to be looking at this today, as well as how you are actually able to fully, properly defeat them using what's actually been known and taught by ancient spirituality for centuries. And this is incredibly important for you to know and to fully understand, not just on a conceptual level, but for your own mental health after narcissistic abuse. Because I see so many survivors that cling to the fight and refuse to let go of it. And they ultimately get very sick, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. And it eventually affects all aspects then of our lives. And this is why these principles, they really matter. They're not just pretty words that sound nice. These are based on universal truth. This is spiritual wisdom. This is really real. And although a part of us wants to, like I said, take the fight to the narcissist, I really don't believe that fighting them will bring the peace or justice or freedom or personal victory that we think it will. But there is a better way. There is something really confusing and deeply disconcerting about dealing with narcissists and people that we determine to be toxic. It seems that no matter how much we actually do what's right, whether we speak up against them, we confront them about their words or actions, we try to explain ourselves or defend ourselves, they don't actually weaken. Instead, they get more fired up. They actually get louder, they get stronger. So the more energy of fight that we bring to them in opposition, the more we oppose what they say or what they do, how they behave, and what they give us, the more fuel that they get. And then the more powerful that they actually become. Fighting them, it gives them power. And this is where most people get really trapped. Because for non-narcissistic people, then, fighting back can often work. But narcissists, they're not operating on the same human level as most people are. This is the fact. They don't want truth. They definitely don't want resolution. And they are very, very comfortable with chaos and discord. In fact, they hate harmony. They thrive on chaos and discord. So if they thrive on chaos and discord, what do you think their main objective is? Is to create as much chaos and discord as possible. And what does this give them? Energy. So they use your energy against you. I've spoken about this in several podcasts before, especially when I have talked about spiritual principles and the trauma bond. And I will link everything down below in the description. Now, the narcissist does not have power on their own. They have got no generator. They are not plugged into mains power. So they have severed their own spiritual connection. So they're totally now dependent on those who are plugged in to supply them with energy. They have to manipulate you out of your own energy. So they deceive you out of your own energy. This is what they do. Because they can transmute any energy that you give to them, both positive or negative, it doesn't matter, into fuel. And actually, negative supply is even better than positive supply. Anger, rage, your hatred, these are actually far more powerful forces than love or admiration for them. So when you come to them with your anger, it's literally like a burning fire. There is so much passion in it, there's so much energy, and they know exactly what to do and what to say to make you lose complete control of yourself so they can get even more out of you. Because whoever controls your emotions is in control of you. And when you're operating through pure passion, from pure emotion, especially from anger, it can be so completely unbridled, there is no control. And in that state, we literally lose our ability to reason. We are no longer in our senses. The heat takes over. And in that moment, we literally hand our power on a silver platter to the person who has made us react like that. There's a Buddhist saying that says holding on to anger is just like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at somebody else. Now, you are the one who gets burned ultimately in the end. Anger itself is not a bad thing. Sometimes anger is a very necessary thing. It's a very righteous thing. It tells us that a boundary has been violated, right? And narcissists, they violate many boundaries, multiple boundaries in mind, body, emotions, and also spirit. But it's when we hold on to anger that it actually becomes like a disease. It doesn't hurt the narcissist, it just hurts us. And actually it can destroy our health, our peace, and our whole lives. And narcissists delight in negative energy. They love a fight. Their whole life is this fight. And it's really frustrating because it is so difficult to win against a narcissist in this way. And that's because, when we are in that fighting energy, you're inside their arena. They're going to bait you on purpose because they know that once you step into that arena, they have the upper hand because they've got you exactly where they want you. They're in control. And the more you give them, the weaker you're going to become. And you might say, well, I fought back against a narcissist and it worked pretty good for me. I don't believe that it works for most people. I believe that it puts you in a worse position. And there is definitely a far better way, which we are about to come to now. There was this early 4th century Christian monk. I know we're going back a little here. And he was called Evagrius Ponticus. And he actually said this quote, that the demon is powerless unless the mind grants it entrance. And what he meant, like many spiritual masters and teachers, is that negative forces, they first appear as thoughts in the mind. And if we focus and identify so much with them, they're going to gain strength. So in modern language, we say energy flows where our attention goes. It's the same principle. The narcissist needs your attention to feel powerful, to feel like a somebody, to feel like they exist. And if they don't have your attention, whether it's positive or negative, then they collapse. Negative forces, they grow when we engage with them, but they collapse when we ignore them. There's a modern day singer called Jill Kilcher, and she captured this energy perfectly when she wrote the lyrics, "Lend your strength not to that which you wish to be free from, and you're going to live a life uncommon." That's from her song, Life Uncommon. Emotion for a narcissist, your emotion, is fuel. If they can get you emotionally activated, they're winning. And a lot of this is fueled by frustration, because we want justice. Survivors want justice. We want to fight them. We want to put them in their place. We want retribution. But the problem is, fighting in this instance is often a huge trap. It was the early desert fathers and mothers that actually shared the same warning as Paramahansa Yogananda. Now, this is very important to know. They warned against focusing on and talking to demons, because attention, emotion, and dialogue give demons power. Now, without intending harm, a narcissist is a demon in their own sense, in their own right. They lack love and they lack empathy. They are missing a core humanity. They don't have it. They really don't. And that makes them extremely dangerous to other people that have all those things. Now, the desert fathers and mothers said, the devil is proud. He wants to be noticed. Pay attention to that. And Yogananda said that Satan is ego consciousness. So any obsession with evil that anybody has will inflate ego. Both traditions, they taught that negative forces feed on attention, on fear, curiosity, fascination, and even obsession. So if all of this feeds them and fighting against them feeds them, what are we actually supposed to do? I want to give you a very simple example. I know that some of you won't believe, but when I was a young child, I used to have pretty bad temper tantrums. I used to lay on the floor, I used to bang my arms and legs, and I used to hold my breath. But guess what? I didn't get better with attention. I actually got worse. And my family learned that to walk away and ignore me was literally the best thing. Because what was I going to do then? Was I going to keep on going? Maybe, but what was the point? There was no audience for me. Narcissists are weakened by your indifference, especially indifference that is grounded in God awareness. So God awareness meaning having an anchor in your spiritual self, being in control of where your focus goes. Now, we only truly control one thing and one thing in life only, which is our mind and what we do with it. And if we're not in control of our own minds, then somebody else is going to be. Destructive forces, they don't weaken when you attack them. I know it's counterintuitive, but they weaken when you starve them. There's an old wives' saying in the UK, feed a cold, starve a fever. And narcissists, they feed on supply, positive or negative. And if they can't get it from you, they're just going to go elsewhere. It's like a predator in a drought. They move when there's no food. So you don't fight narcissism. You withdraw nourishment for the narcissist. You don't heal a fever by keep on feeding it. And you definitely don't defeat ego by engaging with it. A Taoist principle says that if you give evil nothing to oppose it, it will flee. And this actually works perfectly with narcissists. They need your reaction. They need your energy. They need your emotion. They actually need your resistance. When they get nothing, they feel insignificant and powerless and bored. And they might try to poke you and prod you to see if they can get a reaction out of you. But if they can't, you are so useless and so boring to them. And that is when they are forced to leave. They need to go somewhere where they have power over somebody, where they can control their reactions. The real illusion is thinking that winning an argument with a narcissist is actually winning. For the narcissist, the win may have been something different, may have just been getting your engagement. But when you stop giving them that, then they really lose. And this brings us back full circle to something that the desert mothers and fathers understood that I quoted previously. And this was a very long time ago, when they said, the devil is proud, he wants to be noticed. When you really understand this, then everything about narcissists suddenly makes sense. Why would a narcissist stay in a place where they aren't noticed? Why would they actually remain in a place where they aren't admired or feared or resisted or reacted to? Why would they be there? Why would they keep on investing their time and energy where they're invisible? They wouldn't. Because narcissism is pride and it's ego consciousness. It is the need to feel truly, truly significant and powerful and superior and impactful. Attention for them is oxygen. So whether that attention comes as praise or rage or love or hatred or admiration or resistance, it truly does not matter. What matters is that they're being noticed. They are affecting somebody, and they still exist in your emotional and psychological and even spiritual world. This is why fighting against them doesn't weaken them, not at all. It just confirms them. Your anger tells them that they matter, and your frustration tells them that they matter. Your need to explain yourself tells them that they matter. Everything tells them that they matter if you engage them. Even your hatred tells them that they matter. And that is why they stay. But when you remove the audience from them, when you withdraw the attention and the emotion, the reaction and the resistance, there is nothing left for them. There's no oxygen, there's no supply, there's no fuel. A proud entity cannot survive in this kind of obscurity. This is why indifference is not weakness, it's a power. This is why silence is not submission, it's sovereignty. You have power. This is why the narcissist flees. Narcissists, they can't survive where they are not noticed, where they have no influence. And that's the paradox, because you don't win by fighting against them. They win if you do that. You actually win by becoming unreachable. And when you no longer react, and then they no longer exist in your inner world. And when they no longer exist in your inner world, they lose their power over you. And that is how evil truly collapses. And that's how ego starves. That's actually how narcissism is defeated. It's not done by force, but it's by being nothing that they can feed upon. So I hope that you've benefited from today's video and the spiritual wisdom that has been within it. This is truth. Please try to remember it when you're feeling highly reactive or angry, and let me know what you think by leaving me a comment below. If you've enjoyed this podcast, I have another one coming up at the end that you may like to watch next. For now, thank you so much for watching. Take care, sending love, and I'll see you all again next week.